The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
It's a Neverland Clubhouse, yeah. Think of all that we will share. Disney updates and fandom will take you everywhere. It's Courtney and Kelly, two sisters that will be together. Oh, join our Neverland Clubhouse, yeah. Two is twice as nice as one. Memories with friends and family, everybody is welcome. It's Courtney and Kelly, two sisters guiding you through Disney together, yeah.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our second episode of the Neverland Clubhouse. This is the Disney podcast where we will go to different parklands and share Disney stories, news, what's going on with Disney Plus, and so much more. We are your tour guides through Disney fandom. I'm Kelly, and this is my sister Courtney.
Hey, Kelly. Now, in every episode, we'll go to a different land, or two, or maybe even three. In the Hollywood Backlot, we'll discuss and review Disney movies and TV. In Tomorrowland, we'll give you updates about the park and news and upcoming attractions. When we go to Main Street, we'll even help you navigate Disney parks and give our tips and tricks. At Galaxy's Edge, we'll talk about Star Wars news and the movies many we're just seeing for the first time.
Yes, there are so many lands to visit and so much to share with you this week. So today we are going to take you to the Hollywood Backlot to discuss the Hot Topic show, Dancing with the Stars. We'll also go to Tomorrowland for some monthly updates around the park and Disney in general. Head to Adventureland for our downtown Disney trip and some fun virtual events for Halloween. But now let's take you over to Fantasyland because guess what? It's Courtney's birthday month and she wants to share some Disney birthday memories.
So come on, everyone, hop on into Cinderella's pumpkin carriage and let's head on over to Fantasyland for some birthday fun.
Happy birthday month, Courtney! And I've got some questions for you.
All right, go ahead and hit me with them.
All right. I want to know what your favorite thing about celebrating your birthday at Disneyland is.
My favorite thing about celebrating my birthday at Disneyland is getting those birthday buttons. I love going to City Hall and wearing the birthday buttons so all the cast members and, just the people at the parks say happy birthday to you. I mean, I've been kind of doing it every year for my birthday since my 25th. And so some people don't make a big deal about the birthdays, but like if you go to Disneyland, everybody makes a big deal about your birthday.
Yeah, those are so fun when they say happy birthday to you going down the street. Makes you feel awfully special. All right. What is your favorite way to celebrate at the parks?
Well, I like going with friends and family. Sometimes it's not exactly on my birthday, but I love going with family and friends. Lately, it's been our friends, Jasmine and Tyler. Also, I like going with you. Sometimes I'll make plans to go 2 trips, one which is Kelly when she can go because she works retail. My best friend Nicole usually would come too. She hasn't in the last couple of years, but that's because she's been having kids. So, yeah. And I love doing something that I don't usually do. So it could be a special dinner reservation or let's say a guided tour, just something I don't usually do when I go to the parks because I do try and go at least once or twice a month. So I try to do something different.
What was your favorite birthday in Disneyland?
That's a hard one because I've had so many favorite Disney birthdays. I think my absolute favorite one was when when me and my friend Jasmine took the Walk in Walt's Footsteps tour. That tour just hit in all the feels. We stayed the weekend, and I believe it was after my birthday. So it was the weekend after my birthday. So it was right around Mickey's birthday. And so it was right around then. And I just remember going on the tour and on 3 specific spots, I teared up. And they also took us in Walt's apartment. So being in that apartment for my birthday was it gave me the chills. And I just was in the happiest place I could be.
What was your favorite part about that tour?
The favorite, everyone's favorite part is the apartment. But
I haven't been in the apartment yet. I really want to go.
I know
you
didn't get to go that time. I'm sorry. We'll have to when the parks reopen. We'll have to book that tour again. I learned so much. I mean, some of the stuff I already knew because I've been so invested in learning the background of the parks and Walt Disney and all of that. But just to be there and hearing his voice, because they do give you a little tape recorder and play snippets of him talking. We were in front of the partner statue, and I just remember like bawling. And they feed you lunch and give you a cookie, and they do take you on some rides. I think on our tour, it was some of the opening day rides like Alice in Wonderland and Small World.
I like that you go into the back entrances of those tours. You don't wait in line on those tours.
No, you don't.
What has your favorite birthday present ever been? Probably something I gave you, right?
Yeah, actually, you and Nicole went in and gifted me the Storytellers tour, which is kind of similar, like the Walk in Walt's Footsteps tour.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about that tour. I don't know if they still have it.
I don't know either, but it was like a couple of years ago, and it just took you through California Adventure. And I just remember standing out, and the main thing that stood out in that one is they took you into the Lounge of 1901, which was supposed to be the counterpart of Club 33 in Disney's California Adventure at the Carthay Circle. And that was just really special because they had like two chairs that had like Walt's name and Lillian's name on it, and they had pictures of them everywhere, and it was just like being back in the 1920s.
I remember those chairs vividly.
Yeah.
Wasn't there was two other chairs there with names on it? I forget.
It was Roy. No, it was Roy and his wife. It was just, I love experiences like that. I wish Disney had more of those kind of tours.
So is there something that makes the day special or feel like your birthday that you do every year?
Well, if I'm at the parks, we have to watch the Christmas Fantasy Parade because it's always Christmas at the parks when it's my birthday because they do it starting early November. I watch the Christmas Parade, and we also watch the Believe Fantasy in the Sky. I love that it snows. The snow.
I love when it snows on Main Street.
I have to do that every year, every time I'm in the parks for my birthday.
Is there something that you would have on your birthday bucket list? And if it could be anything, what would it be?
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, I mean, I would love to go to like another like park. I would love to go to Walt Disney World and do the Very Merry Christmas Party, but like we said, it's hard for you to get away from in the things. But if it was an absolute bucket list, yeah, right. But I was also like to go to Disneyland Paris or one of the Asian parks. Just I feel like a trip to a different park would be a really special birthday gift.
It would be awesome. Did you ever have any other parties other than going to Disneyland for your birthday?
Oh, yeah, a ton. Because we didn't start doing like Disneyland consistently for my birthday until like I turned 25. I remember Nicole once threw me a princess party at her house for my 18th birthday. And I just loved it. And I remember my friend Iris at the time, she was like a friend from high school. She gave me the Sorcerer's Mickey hat, like from the parks. Yeah. Like she went and got it and like gave it to me for my birthday, and I still have it in the closet somewhere. But it was just unexpected, and like we had a bunch of friends over to her house, and it was really great. And she made me this cake and had like all the different princesses on it. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was so cool. What will you be doing for your birthday this year, and how will Disney be involved? What are you looking forward to doing this year that might be different but still making it fun?
Me and Jasmine and Tyler, we do have a reservation to go to Downtown Disney at the Jazz Kitchen. I've never eaten at the Jazz Kitchen before, so I'm looking forward to experiencing that. And they really haven't been there since COVID started, so I'm excited to see the premiere backlot with them. And unfortunately, Buena Vista Street won't be open while we're there because we're going on my actual birthday, which is the 15th. But I'm excited to see their preparation to open up Buena Vista Street.
It already feels like Christmas there, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
All right. It sounds like it's going to be a blast, and I wish I could go. Wah, wah, wah.
I wish you too. You could too.
But everyone go wish Courtney a happy birthday on November 15th. Before or after, it doesn't matter because we celebrate all month long.
That's right. It's our birthday month. So, Coolio, let's go to Tomorrowland now where we can catch up on the latest Disney news. It's Christmas time at the parks. Walt Disney World has gone full-blown Christmas that started on November 6th. They have opted not to have the Very Merry Christmas party this year, but are making up for it by offering specific holiday foods and decorations from the event that usually takes place throughout the holiday season. And also at Epcot, they will once again be doing its Festival of Holidays.
They are also continuing the tradition at Disney Springs in Florida, the holiday Christmas tree stroll and new holiday scavenger hunt. Entertainment includes stilt walkers, snow flurries, and you can't forget the big guy himself, Santa Claus, and he's bringing Mrs. Claus with him. They are also turning Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar into the Jock Lindsay's Holiday Bar, again for this season.
On November 1st, Disney's Aulani Hawaiian Resort has opened its doors to guests for the first time since March 24th. It will be a phased reopenings, and you do have to participate in a pre-arrival testing program and, of course, be negative to, have a negative COVID test to enjoy the resort.
I love the fact that they're getting to reopen because it makes me hopeful for everything else.
Yeah. Come on, Disneyland.
Come on, Disneyland. Yep. Speaking of Disneyland, Christmas has come early to Disneyland as well because they are opening up Buena Vista Street for some shopping and dining experiences. On November 19th, Disney will be opening the gates to guests as they can now shop at the Five and Dime, eat at Carthay Circle, or enjoy some holiday treats at Trolleys and Treats. This will be an extension of the Downtown Disney, like Stage 17 and the Premier Backlot Shop, which we talked about last month. So they will also use the virtual queue if necessary. This will extend to smoke jumpers and award wieners, and mobile ordering will be available and strongly suggested. But unfortunately, this brings a parking fee. There will be a $10 parking fee in Simba starting November 19th. No word on if annual passes will be honored, and this is as good as we're going to get for a while because Disneyland can't reopen until Orange County reaches the yellow tier.
Bummer. Yeah, I hope they honor annual passes, but probably won't since they're not exactly active at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, $10 is not that bad to go and shop, I guess. I mean, you could pay more in downtown LA.
Well, with the success of the Disney Family Singalong and the Disney Family Singalong 2, Disney and ABC is giving us a third installment of this popular quarantine entertainment program, but this time it will be holiday themed. Not much detail has been given, but we do know this will air on ABC on November 30th at 8 p.m. It will feature celebrity singers singing holiday favorites with the words at the bottom of the screen so you and your family can all sing along.
All right, and Freeform is getting in on the Christmas action as well. They're celebrating with Freeform's kickoff to Christmas all November long with movies like Frozen, the Santa Claus trilogy, Home Alone and Home Alone 2, and one of my favorites, Christmas with the Crates.
I'm happy that Santa Claus is back on there because I remember like a couple of years ago they didn't play the Santa Claus.
Yeah, some are Christmas movies and some are not Christmas movies. It's just a kickoff to Christmas.
And last but not least, one of the major news stories to come out in October was that the Disney company announced a major reorganization of its media and entertainment business that will focus on developing productions that will debut on its streaming and broadcast services. This means that Disney's media businesses, ads, and distribution, and Disney Plus will all operate under the same business unit. This announcement follows a significant reorganization of its release schedule to address new realities, including a collapsing theatrical release business, production issues, and the runaway success of the streaming service, all caused by or accelerated by the pandemic. Basically, this divides the company so that the content creators can solely focus on creating, and the distribution falls to another part of the company.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So they are really, really pushing Disney Plus.
Yeah, especially since everybody's kind of mostly home.
Yeah, everybody's home. They're releasing Soul. They released Onward on Disney Plus. You know, Mulan had the premiere access. So
Yeah,
we'll see what comes.
that's
of
where
it.
they think the direction's going. So
Yeah, and they're not wrong. They're not
No.
wrong. Everybody wants to consume their movies and television right in their own home. So, all right. Well, that's enough news for now. We need to go over to Adventureland and share some of our exciting things that we did this month. Well, remember last episode when we talked about the Backlot Premiere Shop opening? Well, we headed out to downtown Disney to go visit on October 30th. Courtney and I dressed in our Halloween best and spent the morning there. But of course, downtown Disney was almost all Christmas. The Christmas merch and the ambiance was in full effect. Christmas music and merch and everything was a Christmas.
they didn't waste any time.
But we went to the premiere shop in the back lot, and it felt like an exclusive red carpet event. And we got a little taste of going into the parks. We had to go around the side, but we were kind of in the park. It was at stage 17.
Yeah, but it was also kind of like when you walk onto the studios lot, because like when you walk back there, you just hear look at these buildings, and they have like pictures of Soul and Mulan and all the movies that they were promoting, and you see that, and it's like walking onto the back lot like they wanted you to feel.
Yeah. It's like you ever take the tram tour at Universal or anything like that? It was like kind of walking back into backstage, which was awesome. We took a picture at the Step and Repeat with the backlot stage behind us.
Yeah.
It just made you feel real special. The merch in the shop was the Christmas. A lot of the Christmas merch was in there, like spirit jerseys and lounge fly backpacks, sweaters, jackets, everything. They also had the Make-A-Wish line, the dark blue stars and moons line that they have, which is super pretty. I love that. And they also had some Haunted Mansion stuff. Pretty much all the Halloween stuff was at World of Disney. So this shop was more of the newer merchandise that they have.
Yeah, and they also had the stuff that's like the Jungle Cruise 65th anniversary on it.
Yeah, and one thing that made our trip really special was what we were able to make reservations at Ballast Point. We've never eaten at Ballast Point.
Nope.
It was very interesting to eat there. We could sit inside, but there was outside seating available. There was mobile ordering from an app that they were using with their menu. And you ordered and you paid on the app, and they just brought it to your table. Poof,
Yep.
there it was.
I had eaten there last year with Jasmine and Tyler for my birthday, but we only had fries because we just kind of went there and just had some drinks because it's mostly a brewery. But I had a really good Cobb salad there, and
It was really good.
I just had some soda, and I was very happy with that. So they're a good place to eat too.
And then we headed and shopped around a little bit. Went to World of Disney and got some merchandise from Baby Yoda. We got some Baby Yoda merchandise. The new Baby Yoda, the headband ears.
Right, the faces on the headband, and then like the ears are not like Mickey ears, but they're Yoda ears, right?
They're Yoda ears. They're Baby Yoda ears. And I got a little shoulder pal.
Like the Porgs or the baby Groot that they have. We got a Baby Yoda that now will sit on your shoulder. So cute, so cute. We also got Sprinkles cupcakes and took them home.
Oh, yes, we mobile ordered that to go. Really cool. They have like a board in the middle of downtown Disney every couple of feet, and then it has like a QR code that you can just scan with your phone, and it'll pull up like sprinkles, or you can order beignets or ice cream. So that was really fun. And all these things are making it really super simple to go to downtown Disney and have a good time. All right. And then we went over to what used to be the Wonderground Gallery, which is now the Star Wars Trading Outpost. And we adopted 2 loth cats for Courtney's birthday.
I'm so happy because I've been wanting a loth cat since Galaxy's Edge opened, and I just never got one. And now I have one. Yay.
Yes, and I have one too.
You haven't named him yet, though. If you guys have any ideas, let us know on our Instagram, Neverland Clubhouse Pod, if you have a good name for a loth cat.
Oh, yeah. We have 2 that need names. We were still able to find so much magic at downtown Disney, even with the parks closed. And we can't wait for November 19th and to be able to go to Buena Vista Street.
Yes, absolutely. After our fun-filled morning at downtown Disney, we settled down to watch a live stream of In Search of the Sanderson Sisters, a Hocus Pocus Halloween takeover. This was in place of Bette Midler's annual Halloween party, in which she does a fundraiser for the New York Restoration Project, which funds the Parks and Recs in New York. This event cost $10 to see, and thank God it was, because this was one of the most bizarre events I've ever seen. Right,
yeah,
Kelly?
Truly, it was. I didn't know what we were watching when we were watching it.
All of the press for it, like at Entertainment Tonight, and like all the interviews Bette was doing, it was just kind of like presented as a sit down, we're going to reunite for the first time, the 3 sisters, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, and Bette, and we're going to talk about Hocus Pocus, and we're going to sing. But when we actually started the live stream, it was presented to us as a pre-taped mockumentary hosted by Elvira, the Mistress of Evil, which was hilarious. I think I read somewhere that she's 69 years old, and she looked good, just the regular Elvira. But it started off really good with Elvira talking about wanting to meet the Sanderson sisters.
Yeah, we definitely thought we were going to get behind the scenes info, chats with the cast, but that's not exactly what happened.
No, because then on screen up pops a CGI George Lopez's face on what looks to be the book from the movie, but I can tell you it wasn't the book from the movie.
Right.
And she opened the book and was reading the background info about the Sanderson sisters. And then she read a spell that was supposed to make the sisters appear, and it did work, except Sarah ran off. Winifred was in her, came out of the portrait and was talking, and then all of a sudden the other 2 just kind of disappeared. And then it cut to the celebrities that they had brought in to do this thing too. And it was shot in quarantine in 70 different places across America. So you had Meryl Streep, who was kind of telling a dramatic story about when she was the witch in Into the Woods, and she saw Winifred, but just for a quick second. And I guess because she played a witch, she could see another witch. I don't know. It was a weird story and was very she was telling it very dramatically, and it went on for a very long time.
It went on for a very long time, and the most interesting part about it was the dog behind her.
I know, right? I just went to this dog. It was a big black lab.
I don't even remember what Meryl was talking about. But it got weirder from there, Courtney. It definitely got weirder from there.
Because then they had Martin Short, who tried to be the Sanderson sisters' agent. And he played on a character he was Johnny Glick, but he wasn't Johnny Glick. He was somebody else. Johnny Glick is a character that he used to do on Comedy Central. He used to have a mock talk show, and he would put on this suit and be Johnny Glick.
I still didn't understand what he was doing there, or what he was doing, or why he was pretending to be their agent. I don't understand.
It was just something funny for Martin Short to do, because that's who Martin Short is.
I guess.
Now, I would have thought, they did bring in the kids, the original kids, Max, Danny, and Allison, they were in the thing, but they did not have Thackeray Binks. They did not have the voice of Thackeray Binks. And I'm like, I know Jason Marsden. Like, I follow him on Instagram. I know he was just sitting in Tennessee, with nothing to do. So I don't know why they didn't ask him, but
I don't know.
But they brought in Alex Moffat, who's on Saturday Night Live, and he was pretending to be Thackeray Binks, and he did this weird cat dance that I have no idea what was going on.
He might have been trying to do something like Cats, like the movie Cats,
maybe,
but I don't know. He was acting like a cat, and he was kind of all fours, like cleaning himself. Like, it was weird. It was weird.
I don't know. I wish you could still see it because we were laughing our butts off. I mean, he was hilarious. It was weird, and we didn't know what was going on, but it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then they did a little 40-year-old virgin comedy with the kids because they had Max light the black flame candle again to bring back the Sanderson sisters all together. So that was a little weird too. Because I wouldn't think that Max would still be a virgin at 40. And then, oh my goodness. And then the funniest thing was Glenn Close had a cameo as Cruella DeVille. And she was in quarantine and gone crazy. Rambling, screaming, crazy hair, Glenn Close. Seriously.
And they had Jamie Lee Curtis too. They had Bette Midler knocking on this door and everybody opening it. The first time was the John Stamos as the devil. And then a couple times afterwards was Jamie Lee Curtis, and all Jamie Lee Curtis would do would scream. That's it.
Yeah, because she's the queen of scream from Halloween.
Right?
Yeah, but finally they found all of her sisters because John Stamos as the devil, he kind of was portraying the Gary Marshall part from the movie, and he told her she had to put on this show for the New York Restoration Project in order to get her sisters back, and that she had to do something good. And he wore his little "I voted" sticker, which everybody found hilarious. Yeah. So she finally found her sisters, and they sang "I Put a Spell on You." And then at the end, Winifred goes and knocks on the door again, and this time Mariah Carey answers it, and she goes, "It's your holiday's almost over. It's my turn now." And then "All I Want for Christmas" starts to play, and then the show was over.
Credits roll.
And I was like, but wait, what happened to Elvira?
We don't know. We don't know what happened to Elvira. And we were all on the floor dying laughing, and the credits are rolling, and it's just playing "All I Want for Christmas Is You," and Mariah Carey shuts the door, and that was it.
Yep. I mean, it was the weirdest thing. I was like, I want to know what actually happens at these galas because this was insane.
Yeah. I don't know whose mind this was from, but we were led to believe it was from the mind of Elvira because Elvira was the director, the producer, the casting director.
The writer.
She was everything. The credits were just Elvira.
She was a one-woman show, but she didn't get to end it. So
no, she didn't get to do anything after that. But it was all worth it.
Yeah, it was very worth it, and I'm glad my $10 went to a good cause.
Yeah, it was a good event. And then on actual Halloween day, I attended the D23 masquerade for the ending of D23.com's Halloween Hullabaloo event. This event is usually held on the first day of the D23 Expo, but this year, since Halloween was technically canceled in California, the team over there decided to hold their first ever Halloween costume contest. This virtual event was free, that you can still watch today on D23, the official Disney Fan Club's YouTube channel. The contest was hosted by Nina West from RuPaul's Drag Race, and had a panel of 3 judges: Ashley Eckstein from Her Universe and the voice of Ahsoka Tano, Yvette Nicole Brown from Lady and the Tramp, The Big Fib, and those are both on Disney Plus, so you can go watch those.
And Caitlin McHugh Stamos. She's actress, model, and wife of John Stamos, and she's also a Disney bounder. They had thousands of entries, but for this video, they focused on the top 10 entries. And so there was a Haunted Mansion hitchhiking ghost costume, Ursula, Knight Sora from Kingdom of Hearts, the video game, Iago, a transforming Maleficent, Mulan, and she made her costume without a pattern, and it looks spot on. Really did. Old Beggar and Enchantress from Beauty and the Beast. There was Ursula, but this time it was a drag queen version of it. And an Elsa Warrior and a Leota Tombstone.
Yeah, I was able to watch this on YouTube afterwards as well. And I strongly suggest you guys watch this. If you are into fashion or costuming at all, this was incredible. I think my favorite was actually the Mulan. The Mulan was spot on.
Mm-hmm. And she said she did it without a pattern. She just kind of like felt where the material was going to go on her body, like just kind of measured it and just kind of placed it there. It was just, it was like an exact replica.
And her fabrics were almost luxurious and like, didn't look cheap. It was very silky and soft as they were looking at it. They gave us a close-up of, I thought that was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. My favorites were the Iago dress from Aladdin and the Old Beggar Enchantress. Now, Iago, she was like, I think it was maybe a 3-layer dress or more, but it was red and blue, and she made like this head that looked exactly like Iago, like replicating his head out of a seat cushion. It was a seat cushion, and she molded it with a saw. And I was like, that is fantastic.
A power saw or like a...
Yeah. Like when you were like carving a turkey, like she did that. Like
a turkey carver. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
She used a turkey carver. And then the Old Beggar Enchantress, like it was 2 costumes in one because it transformed. So she had like a paper face and it all looked like a stained glass window.
I was going to say, like, it wasn't just the Old Beggar and the Enchantress. It was the stained glass Old Beggar and Enchantress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Version.
So all the colors. And she said she made it from like bed sheets and quilts. And it looked like it. And it just gave that feel of being like on a stained glass. And like it transformed.
Together.
Yeah.
And
then she used licensed Beauty and the Beast fabric for the underlining.
Yes, that was a cute little touch because no one's ever going to see the underlining, but Beauty and the Beast was underneath, and that was really cool.
Yeah. The only one that I really wasn't quite impressed with or like was a little confused was the transforming Maleficent, because it was beautiful and it was well constructed, but it was just the headpiece that transformed from her horns to the dragon face, and she did it with turning away from the camera, so I didn't really get to see it really well, so I was like kind of confused about that one. So Yvette and Caitlin loved all the participants. They had nothing but good things to say, but Ashley Eckstein, she kept saying she was mad at everything, meaning she absolutely loved everything. So if she's mad at it, she loves it. And she was mad at everything.
She's absolutely furious at the end.
Yeah. And the outcome was the second runner-up. So in third place her name was Shane Winmeyer as Ursula the Sea Witch. She was the drag queen. That was the only drag queen in the costume contest. And then the first runner-up was Samantha Sostrick as Madame Leota Tombstone, and the grand prize winner was Kaylee Prue as Old Beggar Enchantress. So I'm really glad that the Old Beggar Enchantress won because it was really good, and I think top prize was $500 at Shop Disney gift card.
Yeah, and there was just so much work that went into everything. It was amazing.
And the last event that I attended on Halloween was a virtual talk from the Walt Disney Family Museum. The event did cost $12 to participate in. And they did announce that the actual museum will be back open to guests on November 5th. So if you're in the Bay Area, you can go and visit this wonderful museum.
So those were some really fun Halloween events we got to attend. It's time to head over to the Hollywood backlot where we're going to discuss Dancing with the Stars on ABC.
Dancing with the Stars is a show that is very near and dear to mine and Kelly's hearts, as we are dancers ourselves. We're not ballroom dancers, but we have seen almost every episode of every season of Dancing with the Stars, and even saw them live in person twice.
Yeah, we definitely met them. We got pictures with them.
Yeah, I think in the second time we were like second row, and they did a selfie from the stage where you could see us, you could pick us out.
Yeah.
And so there have been many things that have happened this season that we just have to talk about, and some of it's good, some of it's not so good, but all of it is going to be the truth.
Yeah, so we were really excited when it was announced back in July, amidst all of the quarantine and everything, that the show was going to continue on and be taped with no live audience in the ballroom. One major change, they had replaced Tom Bergeron and Aaron Andrews with Tyra Banks as the host. This really came as a shock to us, and everyone, including the cast and judges and pretty much Tom himself. And we just couldn't believe that they had replaced Tom and Aaron.
Yeah, especially since Tom has been there since the beginning, the very beginning.
Yeah, very first episode.
And so then we found out not only is Tyra Banks the one and only host, but she is now executive producer as well. Then the cast was announced, and none other than Carol Baskin was one of the contestants from the Netflix show Tiger King. And I'm just like, this is a total ratings grab right now, because really, at the time, they were investigating her on murder charges, really. And so you wanted somebody who is under investigation on your show, but yeah, they did. They did.
Allegedly. We don't know if she's doing it, but yeah. I mean, it definitely was a big, like, what? Okay.
Yeah. And even when it first premiered, like the premiere episode on September 14th, the family actually took out a commercial to plead everybody to help them find what happened to her late husband. And they did not show it on the West Coast, so they must have edited it. But I did read an article that said that they took out that commercial space. And then also, what they have done with the voting for this season and last season is just not working out. It's just not. So they taped the show here in LA, but so that it's ready to premiere live at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But the voting lines are only open for the 2 hours that they are dancing on Eastern time. So from 5 to 7. And so if you're on the West Coast and you want your vote counted, you have to vote before you even see them dance. You have to vote somewhere between 5 and 7, and when we're not going to see it until 8 p.m. And that just becomes a popularity contest at that point, because then you just know who's paired with who, and you're just voting for your favorite person.
I mean, they've always said that it is a popularity contest. People have always complained about the fact that the pros are getting more popular than the celebrities.
Well, in the past, you could vote until the end of the show, Western time, and then they would either tell you at the top of the show or at the, right before the people danced the next week. And I feel like that's more of a broader window to vote than just, you only have 5 to 7, and then we're going to tell you who goes home at the end of the show that night. Because then, I mean, people don't remember to vote, but if you really want your vote to count, then you have to vote before you even see anybody dance.
And sometimes before, in the past, a dance could change your mind about somebody.
Yeah.
But now you're not even seeing the dance, so you're just voting because you want to see that person go forward in the competition.
Yeah. Like, for example, I was a Backstreet Boys fan growing up, so yeah, I'm voting for AJ McLean, So, but I haven't seen him dance yet, but I still voted for him.
Right. All of that said, once we heard that Tyra would be hosting the show, every single Facebook post was about the show and had nothing but comments stating fans were not happy with this. They did not like what executive producers had done to Tom, and with Tom coming out and saying that he really had no idea what was going on, this just made the fans so mad.
Because Tyra she's been a host of America's Next Top Model. She's been host of America's Got Talent. And she's also had her own talk show. And all of those, I mean, America's Top Model was her most successful. Like, I could see she knows a lot about the modeling industry. So that show was in her wheelhouse. And so she was able to host that well. But I heard a lot of backlash of her not hosting America's Got Talent very well. So I was skeptical of how she would host Dancing with the Stars.
So how did they alleviate our concerns? They brought back Derek Huff as a judge.
But this still has not helped. It did not help.
We love Derek Huff, and he's a great judge, and he deserves the judging position. But that did not make us any less mad about Tyra Banks. So week 1, we were not even told who the couples were until the broadcast, which they don't normally do. They normally make a whole big deal out of it over Good Morning America. They did give us little teases. They gave us Carol Baskins. They gave us Caitlin Bristow from The Bachelor. But that was pretty much it.
They really didn't announce anything until the night of the show. Like September 14th, it premiered.
Right. So these are our 15 couples. We have AJ McLean and Cheryl Burke. AJ is a Backstreet Boy. Chrishell and Gleb. Chrishell is on Selling Sunset. Vernon and Peta. Vernon is a football player?
Yeah.
Anne and Keo. This is Anne Heche. She's an actress. Jeannie Mai and Brandon. She hosts The Real.
And Holy Moly on ABC.
Jesse Metcalf and Sharna Burgess. He's an actor. Desperate Housewives and a soap opera. Sky Jackson and Alan. Sky is a Disney Channel star. She was in Jessie and also in Bunked. Caitlin Bristow and Artem. She's the Bachelorette. Neve and Jenna. He's from Catfish. And we have Johnny Weir and Britt. He's the ice skater. We have Justina Machado and Sasha. She's also on One Day at a Time right now, and she's an actress. Charles Oakley and Emma.
He's a basketball player.
We have Monica Aldama and Val. Monica is on the Cheer Show on Netflix. And Nelly and Daniela. Nelly is the music rapper singer. And Carol Baskins and Pasha.
From Tiger King. And they've solely focused on, like, Carol Baskin is going to be on there. Carol Baskin, because this was announced amongst the hype of Tiger King over quarantine. So it was really big for them to get her. Even though I was like, no, please, no, don't do that.
Oh, but they said what she was dancing to right away. They said, we're having Carol Baskins dance to Eye of the Tiger, and you won't want to miss it here on the premiere.
Yeah. I believe Tyra did her runway walk and walked out and changed outfits 3 times.
This runway walk that she does every single time that she comes out I can't stand it.
A lot of the feedback online is she's trying to make it all about her.
It is. Like the season poster. Why is Tyra on the poster? It used to be the dancers. It used to be a more dancer-focused show. Tom was never on a poster.
Yeah, no. But she changed outfits 3 times. I don't remember what they were because I was just like, really? You're changing them? And every week they get worse. They get worse. But also her questions. I know she's trying really hard, and Tom was really good at relating to the cast and asking them poignant questions about in the moment how they felt. And Tyra, I don't know if it's because of the distance that they have to do, because the judges themselves, because of COVID, are 8 feet apart. She's distanced from the judges. She's distant from the contestants. I don't know if she just can't hear them well or what it is in the ballroom, because also every time that they show her, she's yelling over a pre-recorded clapping. So because there's no one in the ballroom except for the contestants, she asks these questions like she wants it to be a talk show, and she doesn't leave time for them to answer correctly.
Right.
But I mean, the judges always have good things to say and have good critiques for them to work on their dancing. And this was only week 1, so there was wonderful dancing all throughout the board. You could see who is going to be in the lead right away. Like Justina had great personality. She was like one of my underdog favorites. Like I was rooting for AJ the whole time, but then like Justina just came out and wowed me, And same thing with
she's still one of my favorites.
Yeah,
still
and
one of my
Nev
favorites.
too, Neve or Nev. He just showed so much potential. So I feel like those two are really like dark horses in this race, even from week 1.
Well, hold on. We are going to be talking about the highest and the lowest scores of the night
And
for
who
each
goes
week.
home.
And who goes home. So spoiler alert if you don't want to know.
Yeah. The highest score for the first night was a 21, and it was for Sky and Alan.
I actually thought that was pretty good for a night 1 score, a 21.
Absolutely.
Usually you don't break like 20, 19. It was pretty good for a 21 night 1 score.
And of course, the lowest score of the night went to Carol Baskin
with an 11. Which is really low. It's not the lowest, but it's pretty low.
Yeah, I think the lowest we've ever seen was Master P in like the 2nd season, and he got like 3s.
Yeah.
And so the front runners were Sky and Alan and Justina and Sasha. And then we go to week 2. They introduced rumba and samba and Viennese waltz.
But guess what? Tyra did chain outfits, but she only changed twice this time and still did the runway walk.
Yeah. And she also had confusing questions for the contestants and tried to empathize with them, but it's getting better, but it didn't quite hit its stride yet.
Yeah, fans are still upset and still calling for Tom to come back. Please, Tom, come back. Tom, please come back.
That's what they're saying. Unfortunately, she's executive producer, so she ain't going nowhere. So the highest score of this week was a 22, and that went to Caitlin and Artem.
Yes, she's been doing very well with her footwork, and she's very precise.
Yeah, but I feel like also she said that she had a dance background, right?
Just having a dance background only gives you a slight edge with ballroom. Ballroom is a completely different beast when it comes to dance.
Absolutely. But figure skaters do really well with it, and so do musicians. So the lowest score of the night went to Charles and Emma with a 15, and also Sky and Alan got a 15. So they were on top the first week, and then they ended up being part of the bottom on week 2.
Yeah, Sky, I don't think she's found her body rhythm yet. She's a little lanky. She has that Zendaya problem when Zendaya was on Dancing with the Stars, where she doesn't really know what she's doing with her arms and legs.
Right. So the bottom 2 ended up being Carol and Pasha and Charles and Emma. And
well, Carol and Pasha danced to yet another cat song. They danced to What's New Pussycat by Tom Jones. But this was a Viennese waltz.
Surprisingly, Carrie Ann and Derek both voted to save Carol Baskin that week.
Yes, and Charles Oakley went home, which I thought, was the right call, because he did not do as well as she did. She did not do well, but she did a little bit better than him. I think it was the right call at the time.
I think so too. She wasn't the worst, but she definitely wasn't the best either. She was kind of in the middle of the pack, but she was like, I think she tied for last place with Charles that week.
I really appreciate that she did try.
Yeah.
I mean, she did dance.
And she did take it very seriously, so.
It was kind of nice seeing with her family and all that, It gives you a soul to somebody who Tiger King didn't really give.
Right. So then we move into everybody's favorite night of the week, Disney night. So week 3 was Disney.
Oh, yeah.
We look forward to Disney night all the time. So they introduced Argentine tango, which is a little different from regular tango, and the Charleston and waltz. They started with Sky did Almost There from The Princess and the Frog. Monica was Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid. Justina did Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious from Mary Poppins. AJ did Prince Ali from Aladdin. Anne danced to Zero to Hero from Hercules. Jeannie did Married Life from Up. Nellie danced to It's All Right, which is a new song from the movie Soul, which hasn't come out yet because it's premiering on Disney Plus December 25th.
Christmas Day.
Yeah. Carol danced to, yet again, another cat song, The Circle of Life.
Yeah, it was another cat song, but it was a little less cat.
Except for what they dressed them as. They literally went...
Oh, yes. And you can bet this is why they saved her.
Because they dressed her up as if she was part of the Cats cast and gave the lion kind of like a human form.
Her and Pasha were both life-size lions.
And then Caitlin was a dance to How Far I'll Go from Moana. Vernon had Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast. Neve danced to Angelica from Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. So it was just the instrumental, and it was called Angelica. Johnny had Reflection from Mulan, but it was the live-action Mulan. So it was Christina Aguilera's new version that she just put out for the live-action movie. And Jessie had King of New York from Newsies. And Chriselle did A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes from Cinderella.
Now, what was your favorite one out of all of this?
I really liked AJ dancing to Prince Ali. He was dressed as Prince Ali, as Aladdin as Prince Ali, and he really played the part. Like, I really felt like he was Aladdin. Cheryl did a great choreography to a really hard song. I did really like Johnny's Reflection dance.
I was going to say, Johnny's Reflection, the story that actually went along with the dance was incredible.
Yeah. And he danced, he dressed like as if she was, now I'm going to say like the cartoon one, but he dressed up like Ping, and then Britt was danced as like Mulan with her hair down. Like, it was that polar opposite characteristics of Mulan.
Right. And it was like the reflection. She was the reflection of him, and he was the reflection of her, because in the movie that's what happens. And the choreography mirrored that, and it was incredible. Britt, who is one of the newer pros, she's been on Dancing with the Stars for a while in the troupe and everything, and has always helped the pros with all the numbers and everything. But she is doing an incredible job with Johnny Weir.
Yeah, for first time pro. Yeah, It's All Right was great, but I feel like the problem, and that was Nellie's dance. I feel like the problem with, and I know why they do it, because they want to introduce the new song from the new movie. They did it last year with Coco. Or 2 years ago with Coco. Last year, I don't remember what it was, but they always
Onward.
Oh, it was from Onward. They always do that.
I think so.
Since they took over Disney Night, and I know they want to introduce it to the audience, but it never hits right because you don't know the song.
Yeah.
But also, they use the same songs every year. So
right.
And they tried to put a few different ones. Like, they've never done Married Life from Up before, which I thought was
really enjoyed Jeannie's Married Life from Up, actually. It was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
They were just up like the little older versions, a couple and up.
And she dedicated it to her new boyfriend, fiance.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was just really well done. Usually they do a lot more fanfare for Disney Night. It was hard with COVID because also Disneyland's not open. Usually they go to Disneyland and spend the day.
Yeah.
They didn't get to do that this time. For what they had to work with, it was a really good Disney Night. The bottom two was Anne and Keo and Carol and Pasha. And they voted to save Anne and Keo, and Carol Baskin went home in her lion garb.
But I do have to give a shout out to Sharna because she is my girl. And she put together an incredible number to King of New York in Newsies. And I wanted her dress so bad. It was a little newspaper outfit dress.
Oh, yeah, that was so cute. I love that.
Yeah, and her set was incredible.
It looked like you were on the set of the Broadway show, right? The Broadway show?
Yeah.
Newsies?
Yeah.
So then we move on to week 4. And there was a little bit of drama with week 4, wasn't there?
Oh, there was a whole lot of drama with week 4. And the drama continues through even today.
So they didn't have a theme night. They just kind of did dances. So when after everybody danced, Tyra was calling out who was saved. And she had originally said that Monica and Val were safe. And
yeah, they had already gone off the stage.
Yeah,
even.
They were happy. They'd gone off the stage. And then she got down to what she thought was the final 2. And she was left with Chriselle and Gleb, Vernon and Peta, and Anne and Keo. So she was left with 3 couples, but she's not on camera when she's reading this. So the camera's focused on the couples, and she never acknowledges that she has 3 couples left. She just never does. But then she starts to say that she had a technical glitch.
There's actually been an error. I'm looking right now, and we have 3 couples. So we need to clarify this for 1 second. The bottom 2 couples are Anne and Keo, and Monica and Val. Please come back. Please have Monica come back. There's been an error in our control room, but we're making it happen.
Monica and Val made their way back to the dance floor after being deemed safe to face off against Anne Heche and Keo. And in the end, Monica and Val were saved by the judges.
The judges are completely baffled. They don't know what's going on, to the point where they are running out of time, and they don't even really get to critique or say anything and properly save somebody. And so they already said that Monica and Val were safe. So basically they just were like, we're going to keep them. And Anne Heche and Keo went home. And Anne was not happy because she had done a dance that just gotten done explaining like how far she had come after being with the girlfriend of Ellen and being such a pariah for like 10 years in the acting community. Like nobody would really hire her, and she was trying to jumpstart her career again, or how she had jumpstarted her career again after all of that. And she just felt, and nobody wants to go home after they've opened up their heart like that or opened up their story, but she just was not happy that she went home on that week, which I totally understand.
It was very confusing, and like it wasn't explained to what actually happened. A lot of people were blaming Tyra for reading the wrong names. Some people said she handled it well, or the show said she handled it well. But this was just an all-around confusing week.
And I mean, so as for the highest score, I kind of glossed over that. The highest score did go to Sky for her foxtrot that she dedicated to Cameron Boyce. That was about the most memorable thing about this week. She got a 28 for that dance. And Cameron Boyce was her co-star on Jesse and Bunked, and he was part of the Descendants. He was Carlos, who is the son of Cruella de Vil, and he unexpectedly passed away last year due to complications from epilepsy. So it's all very, very still with the cast members of Descendants and Jesse and Bunk. So, and Sky was the youngest on set and was very close with Cameron. So she wanted to dedicate that to Cameron this time. And I feel like it was deserved. It was a very wonderful foxtrot and very meaningful.
It was like our first 9s and I think she's 10s of the season, right?
Oh, she got 1 10 and 2 9s, I believe, since it was a 28. Yeah. So then they threw in a themed week for the next week. We're on week 5, and it's 80s night. So they're dressed to the 9s and 80s garb. They are dancing to 80s music. They introduce contemporary and jazz. And I just loved Justina Machado's Maniac dance from Flashdance.
Oh, yes. She even poured the water on herself.
Jeannie danced to Like a Virgin. Johnny danced to Total Eclipse of the Heart.
So these were our favorites.
And Jeannie did really well with Like a Virgin.
Yeah, I knew she was going to really do well with jazz because she does really well with those faster dances, and jazz is just throw anything at the wall and let them do some turns and let them do like some jazz squares.
Yeah, and also I feel like the judges are a little bit easier on jazz dances. Like they're scoring it like a little bit easier just because it's such a ballroom competition. So when they throw jazz in there.
Well, and contemporary, they really don't judge contemporary either. Contemporaries usually get either 9s or 10s as well.
Yeah, because they basically judge it on the emotion rather than the technical side of it. The highest scores went to Johnny and Britt for their Total Eclipse of the Heart. He had the first 10s and he ended up with a 29. So he had 10, 10, 9. And the lowest was Jesse and Chriselle, both had 19s. The bottom was Vernon and Jesse. And Jesse and Sharna went home, unfortunately, this week.
Yes, I'm unfortunately very sad about that. I never like to see Sharna go home, but Jesse just was not dancing up to where he needed to be.
I wanted him to. He looked like he was going to, but he just didn't.
Yeah, he just wasn't cut.
Yeah, and Tyra changed 3 times because it was 80s night. And then also she couldn't let go of the technical glitch. She did make an announcement at the beginning that it was a technical glitch and the control room was telling her different things. She can't let it go.
Yeah.
And there's articles on Facebook that was just like, oh, she's really mad and she keeps blaming the staff and all that. And I don't know really who to blame. It's live television, stuff happens, but in 29 seasons, it hasn't happened very often. So,
yeah, our next week is week 6, and this was just not the best week. This had weird dances and weird things going on.
Like Sky wore a wig and danced to Doja Cat, which is a famous song on TikTok.
I mean, the song's okay, but the dance was not great.
And Nelly talked about being friends with Tim McGraw and danced to Humble and Kind, which is fine. And it showed a way different side of Nelly, which was really good. But there just wasn't, there wasn't anything memorable about it.
Yeah.
The highest score went to, actually, there was a 4-way tie again. They went to Monica and Val, AJ and Cheryl, Caitlin and Artem, and Justina and Sasha. All got 27s.
So, yeah, Johnny Weir and Vernon was the bottom 2. Johnny was a little ahead of the music is what was happening. He also was wearing this god-awful costume, almost like a sheer bodysuit with, fringe.
Yeah, it looked like he was wearing one of the Girl Pro costumes, which is fine, but it just was probably a little too much for Dancing with the Stars audiences.
But yeah, so I remember that, and then he was a little ahead of the music and not staying on time.
But the judges decided to save Johnny, and Vernon went home. Usually when a couple is in the bottom 2 weeks in a row, they usually vote to save the one that is the new one in the bottom. And then we get into Villains Night, which is AKA their Halloween episode. This was great.
This had to be one of my favorite episodes of the season and one of my favorite Halloween episodes they've ever done.
Because they couldn't do team dances or anything, so they actually had them dress up as the character that they were dancing an homage to. So Jeannie was dressed up as Hannibal Lecter, and she danced to Maneater. Johnny was dressed up as Dracula and danced to Creep. Chriselle was dressed up as Maleficent, and she danced to In the Air Tonight. Monica was dressed as Nurse Ratched, and she danced to Fever. And then AJ dressed up as Norman Bates and actually danced to the theme from Psycho. And so, but also when he started, he was dressed up as Norman Bates' mother and then took the wig off of that one and then was dressed up as Norman Bates.
Oh, yeah. Cheryl's concept with that was
right.
so
and then
good.
Nelly was Freddy Krueger. He had the hands with the claws and everything, and his face was like Freddy's, but I was a little bit confused because he only had one glove.
Well, if the one fell off, at the very beginning.
And he danced to Can't Feel My Face.
So he had two in the very beginning, and then one fell off, and he just finished the dance.
Well, good for Nelly then, because the show must go on. But he danced to Can't Feel My Face from The Weekend with Freddy Krueger.
That was funny.
Justina was dressed as Carrie from the movie Carrie, and she danced to Take Me to Church. It's like right at the prom sequence, and she was covered in blood all over her dress and on her, like in her hair and everything. She was just covered in blood. And Nev was the Black Swan. Now, this was such a good concept, and I feel like he won the night because he dressed up as the male version of the Black Swan. And I think right now, minus COVID, there is a ballet that was running Black Swan with a male in that role. Usually it's portrayed by two women, a white swan and a black swan, two women. But he was the male version, and he looked like a ballet dancer. He did. He really did. And it's just that the Black Swan is such an evil character in Swan Lake. You don't really think about it, but it does have that evil side. I mean, we watched that movie Black Swan with Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman, and it was a little disturbing and a little crazy, but it showed the actual Swan Lake and how evil that character can be. So he was right on the money on that.
I believe the Swan Lake remix is from Black Swan, the movie. I believe.
Oh, interesting. I didn't put that together.
I could be wrong on that, but
that makes sense. And then Sky was Tiffany Valentine, who's the bride in Bride of Chucky, and they danced to Everything I Wanted. And Caitlin was Cruella de Vil, and they danced to Disturbia, which definitely reminded me of Glenn Close in the Hocus Pocus thing.
Yes,
she was crazy.
She was a little all over the place. Yeah, not Caitlin's best dance by any means. But she was a little all over the place. But her Cruella de Vil was spot on.
She was dressed just like her.
Yeah.
So that.
But going back to Neve and the Black Swan, he revealed that his dad would take him to the ballet, and he really enjoys ballet.
Yeah, you never think about that, looking at him, but I'm glad he enjoyed ballet.
Yeah, and I really found that fascinating because, you don't really hear about dads taking their sons to the ballet, but it's their thing. They do that. That's what they do. They go to the ballet. And he really wanted to do a Swan Lake. And Jenna really did put in ballet moves.
Really hard ones, too.
Because really hard ones. Because we have taken ballet in the past, and he was doing fouettes and turns and just things that you would see actually at the ballet. So I thought that was really cute and really good of Jenna to tie in to that, because you just never hear about dads and sons going to the ballet. I love it.
Well, the highest score, of course, went to Neve and Jenna. They got a perfect 30, and no one's gotten a perfect 30 up until this point. No one has gotten a perfect score.
Oh, he deserved it. He totally deserved it. Yeah.
And the lowest score went to Monica and Val. They got a 22.
You know what? Monica and Val, they danced the Nurse Ratched to Fever by Beyonce, I believe. She had one face the entire time. She tried to be really menacing, but it just wasn't working.
And she was kind of walking through it. Now, she is a cheer coach. And I think sometimes it's really hard for cheerleaders to get out of the rigid stateness of cheerleading. So it's just as the bar gets higher for these dances, it wasn't going to work out. I don't think I saw her going home before anybody else.
Yeah, and Jeannie's Hannibal Lecter routine was just a little better than Monica's. So I think they saved Jeannie, and rightfully so.
So Monica went home that night. And then we found out that Jeannie, in week 8, we had to find out that Jeannie dropped out due to emergency surgery. So they were going to do...
I was really sad.
So they were going to do a double elimination night in this week. And this was just like the previous week, right? And
yeah, this is up to where we are. This is current.
Yeah, all of a sudden she was like, she had to get a surgery done on her neck and she can't continue in the competition. So she had to withdraw. And then also Cheryl hit her head in one of the rehearsals and she didn't know if she'd be able to dance.
Oh, yes. That was a big thing in the episode. Tyra mentioned it at every turn she could. Is Cheryl going to be able to dance? Well, obviously Cheryl was going to be able to dance because dancers are resilient and we don't take hits lying down.
I did. I did the whole thing. I did that in like middle school where I actually was doing a play and I hit the back of my head because I was going to lay down and I hit the back of my head and I just continued on with the scene. They were like, "Are you okay?" Yep, I'm good. Yep.
But you still went on and you still did it and you went
yep.
on with the show. That's always the motto.
Do it.
Cheryl's going to go on it unless she doesn't have her legs. If she doesn't have her legs, she won't go on, but she's going to go on regardless of anything else.
And so the highest scores they did 2 dances. They did their regular dance and then they were going to do a relay dance between 3 couples. And the highest scores that were before the relay dances was Neve, Justina, and Johnny. They all had 27 and Nellie had the lowest with 21.
Why do you think Nellie is still there?
Probably because of the fans.
Because he really doesn't dance much.
No, and he wears sneakers. He doesn't wear dance shoes.
Yeah, he has his shoe guy make his sneakers into dance shoes.
Well, I know this particular night was his birthday, so I don't think he was going to go home on his birthday.
That's right. Oh yeah, this is with his
birthday. They weren't going to do that to him. But yeah, I think it's the fan base because he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't had anything new in a while, I don't think, but he still has a pretty big following. So it's all about your following nowadays. So
it's true.
And so for the next dance, the relay dances, they did the cha-cha-cha, Viennese waltz, and samba. You earned extra points from the judges. They either awarded 3 points or 2 points. I thought they were going to do 3, 2, 1, but everybody either got 3 or 2 points added to their scores.
It wasn't really explained how they were going to do it, and with the double elimination postponed or held off or not happening.
Well, it did happen. It just one was a withdrawal. So it did happen. They just didn't get to choose to.
Right.
And so the bottom 2, it came down to Chriselle and Sky. And Chriselle ultimately went home. But on the interwebs, there's like drama between Carrie Ann and Caitlin.
Well, okay, so Chriselle went home and Sky was in the bottom 2 with Chriselle. Caitlin was nowhere near the bottom 2. And yet anything anyone could talk about was the drama between Carrie Ann and Caitlin and how they think Carrie Ann's being too hard on Caitlin, or Caitlin and Artem thinks they're being too hard on them.
Yeah, and saying that the scores don't match the comments. And I'm like, I was watching Caitlin and I was like, the dances where Carrie Ann was a little bit harsher on her. And yeah, Carrie Ann has always been the lift police. So if you can't do anything on your own and you're lifted up, yes, Carrie Ann's going to call you on it.
So this was the comment that she made about how can she do a back tuck by herself?
Yeah, and she said
right?
no. And then Artem said
Right.
it's an assisted
So she
lift.
called that a lift, an assisted lift. So Carrie Ann, if a dance is, if the rules say that the dancers can't have lifts in this dance, and they happen to do a lift, Carrie Ann will take a point off for them doing the lift.
But I don't feel like Carrie Ann was hard on Caitlin. I don't think it was her best dance, and she did a lift. She has to pay the consequence.
Yeah. I don't think she was that hard on Caitlin either. No harder than she is on any of the other contestants. She's a bit confusing when she judges as well. We all know consistency with the lifts and the no lifts and what is a lift and what isn't a lift has been going on for years. I don't know. I think she's a pretty fair judge.
Yeah.
And she usually scores.
They just don't
fairly,
have Len as a buffer. Derek, he tries to give criticism. Right. He doesn't really judge on like specific things like that. So, and plus he's been a contestant, so he's looking at things a little bit different than what Carrie Ann and Bruno is. Bruno's never been a lift police. He's just mainly been like personality, and he likes clean lines. So if you don't have that, then he'll dock points.
And Derek tries to give constructive criticism, things that they can take back and fix. Because as a pro, that's what you want, is to get feedback that you can go back and train and fix and try to tweak.
Yeah. So who's left, Kelly?
All right. So we have, with the contestants that are left, we have Caitlin and Artem, Nev and Jenna, Justina and Sasha, Nellie and Daniela, Sky and Alan, Johnny and Britt, and AJ and Cheryl.
I know I've been voting for AJ and Cheryl since the beginning, but I have really been impressed with Justina and Nev. So I do think that those three might be the top and, left to fight it out with the the last round. But I believe that Nelly will be the next one eliminated. I don't think it'll be Kate.
I don't know, with his fan base, it's hard to tell with Nelly, and he has that cool factor too. Like, he just puts his own style and personality and finesse into the dances. So sometimes it helps him and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. With all the drama, I think Caitlin and Artem could be the next one.
You think so?
Yeah, because people do not like it when you kind of clap back at judges.
That's true.
And once you kind of get on your high horse, people are like,
okay,
you're done.
I could see that.
Yeah, I think Caitlin and Artem could be next. And really, the rest of them are all very equally matched. And this is where I'm like, I really do want to see them dance before you vote, because
a bad dance could break it.
Are all so one dance could break it, but then one dance could send you home. Like one dance could send you over the top and be like, oh yeah, they're the front runners, but then one dance can send you home. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting final, hopefully. And we'll have to see who goes home next.
Yeah. And so if you are interested in Dancing with the Stars or have been following it, they're on Monday nights at 8 p.m. on ABC.
Well, okay. So now that we got that off our chest, Courtney, that was a lot.
That was a lot.
We have come to the end of our second episode, and we want to thank all of you for joining us today. Also, please join me in wishing Courtney a happy birthday. And we also want to give a big shout out and thank you to Rob Dellinger for composing our theme song. And to hear more of Rob's work and to see where he will be playing next, please go to his website, alpharhythmkings.com.
We are part of the Skywalking Network, Skynet, where you can also find other great shows like Talking Apes, classic Marvel Star Wars comics, the Max Effects podcast, and coming in November, the Resilience Squadron podcast, plus the flagship show, Skywalking Through Neverland. sign up for the weekly Skywalking Network newsletter. The sign-up form is available in our show notes. You can check out all the Skywalking Network podcasts and articles at skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
You can follow us on social media at Neverland Clubhouse Pod, at CLT8622, and at Kelly Turkel on Instagram, at Cuddles25, Kudles 25 on Twitter, and Kelly Turkel and Courtney Turkel on Facebook.
You can also find us in the Skywalking Through Neverland Facebook group. Just search Facebook for Skywalking Through Neverland group, request to join, and then answer the questions that pop up. Do it or we can't let you in. All right then, second star to the right and straight on till morning. Join us for our next adventure from the Neverland Clubhouse.